Happy Tuesday, Joy family. It is great to be coming to you again. And before we jump into God's Word, I just have a few reminders for you and a piece of encouragement. First of all, make sure you're joining us on Sundays for our time of worship together virtually via our live stream. I hope you're enjoying our journey through Romans. And it's getting very exciting. And as Paul ramps this up of what it means to belong to Jesus, and we're unleashed, the gospel is unleashed in us so it can be unleashed through us. So don't miss that on Sundays. But we have other opportunities. Sunday night for the youth with disciple making group, our Monday night disciple making group. And then we have our ladies walk through the Bible in a year and their connection. And you'll be hearing more about when that's coming up. Just stay tuned to our Facebook page or our website, and we'll have details. But this coming Thursday, we have our prayer night. We have another one of our prayer nights. It's a great opportunity. You can see the information on our website, Facebook page. We may be sending out an email on Thursday morning on how to connect with that. But join us for that. It's a great time that we not only connect with God, but we can connect with each other. And that's exciting so that we can be lifting up each other in prayer and unifying together. Maybe you're saying, man, I don't go because I'm not going to join because I don't want to pray out loud or I don't feel comfortable praying out loud. Don't worry. Just come and sit and pray with us and pray silently with us, but share your requests and just connect with us. It's just a great opportunity to come and join together as a Joy family. Now, as we get into God's Word this morning, we've been talking about going 10 rounds in the fight of our life. And what we're talking about is really the greatest struggles of our heart in following God in our everyday life. And these are struggles that keep us from really experiencing all that He has for us in life. And especially keeps us from being effective and joyous in life and effective in sharing Jesus and being that witness He calls us to. So these struggles really are at the core of God's 10 commandments. In fact, God's 10 commandments, more than a bunch of rules of do and don'ts, really reveal these struggles of our heart in not only loving God, but loving each other. In fact, we're in round number 5. We've already gone 4 rounds, and hopefully, you're ready for the fight and you're still going and still being encouraged by this. But in round 1, we talked about the commandment is, you will have no other gods before me. And really what's behind that command is our struggle to be our own God or to be in control. Round number 2 was the command that you'll have no graven images or no idols. And really what's behind that struggle is our, struggle to find fulfillment everywhere else but God. Round 3 was about don't take God's name in vain, which reveals our struggle to manipulate our relationship with God for our own gain, our own benefit. And then last week on Thursday, we looked at keep the Sabbath day. Remember the Sabbath day and keep it holy. And the Sabbath day is a day of rest that God has created for us to spend with Him. And really, it reveals our struggle with busyness, that we'll do everything else but rest in Him. Now, today we enter round 5, and it kind of marks a shift in these struggles because the first 4 commands all deal primarily with our struggle in loving God. Now, these next 6 commands deal with our struggle in loving others, loving our neighbor. In fact, that's why Jesus, when He was asked by the teachers of the law, hey, Jesus, what is the most important law that we should keep? The most important commandment? He says, the first commandment is this, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. The second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. In these 2 commands, hold all the law and the prophets. So all the law, the 10 commandments, that's what they reveal. So round 5 is about how we love others, or it reveals a struggle in loving others and what that looks like. So here's what this struggle is. It's in Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. And here's what God says. Honor your father and mother that your days may be long in the land the Lord your God has given you. So let's understand this command real quick. He says honor. What does honor mean? Well, honor is bigger than just respecting and bigger than just obeying. Really, honoring means to submit, to place yourself under. And that includes obeying. But we can obey and obey grudgingly. That's compulsion. That's not honoring. Because there's another aspect to honoring besides just submission or obedience, and that is esteem or respect. that not only you're obeying or submitting, but you're doing it willingly, placing that authority over us, and as God gives it. So he says, honor who? Your father and mother, both parents, right? God gives us our parents as our primary authority in our life. We all have parents, be they biological parents or adopted parents, but we have parents, and God says he wants us to honor them. And then there's a promise along with that command, right? It's a promise to the Jews first and foremost, that he says your days will be long in the land I am going to take you, which is the promised land. And he says, if you do this, your time here will be long. But Paul talks about this same command in Ephesians chapter 3, and he says it like this, that it may go well with you. You see, not only is it for the Jews, but it's for all of us, and it's a quality of life issue. If we can honor our parents and really honor our authority that God gives us, our life will go better. It will be good for us when we learn to honor our father and mother. And this honoring our father and mother, it's not just something we say, well, yeah, of course, when I'm a kid, I should honor my parents. But it deals with all stages of our life, really. You know, when we're kids, we should honor our parents, and what that looks like is placing ourselves willingly under their care, under their instruction, and under their guidance. But then when we're as adults, we can still honor our parents by honestly seeking and appreciating their input from their experiences. And then as our parents age, we honor them by making sure they're cared for. So honoring your father and mother isn't just something just for little kiddies, but it is for all of life, and it includes that. And the way we honor our parents will also reflect upon the way our kids learn to honor us and honor other authority in our life. You see, because God is our ultimate authority, but then he has given us a primary authority in our life here on earth, and that's our parents. But he's given us that because there's other authorities in our lives. So if we can't honor God, we won't honor our parents. If we don't honor our parents, we're going to have trouble honoring any authority in our life. And in fact, we see that with many people that have trouble with authority, and you can trace it back. Well, how did they learn to honor their parents? Did they learn to honor God? And usually there's a disconnect there. And that's really because of the heart of this struggle. And what's at the heart of this command? Well, it's much like round one in our fight with just loving God, and it was about being our own God or wanting to be in control. You know, when it comes to honoring authority in our lives, especially our parents, we've equated maturity with being able to break free from that, right? I can't wait till, I'm old enough and I can break free and I can make my own decisions and I can do what I want. So really at the heart of this command, our heart struggle in loving others, learning to love others in our life, is our struggle for independence. And as this plays out in our life, it's not only reflected in how we honor our parents, but how we honor other authority in our life. And then and what it leads to, if we fail in this fight, we don't love others. So what does this look like then? This struggle for independence, or us wanting to be independent. Well, it begins, this struggle for independence is we feel entitled. You see, we look at our parents and we say, well, no, they're our parents. They have to give us what we want. They have to take us to Disney. They have to do these things. It goes into other authorities in our life when we're at work. My boss better give me respect. I won't respect him or obey him or listen to him unless he respects me. Or with the government, they have to meet my needs. They have to take care of me. Or, they're not doing their job. And what that's doing is it's saying, they're here for me rather than I'm here for them. What can I get from them? I deserve something from them. And that can hinder us in loving others. It also looks like wanting to be independent is that we know best. And that's what's behind wanting to be independent. We say, well, yeah, I know they said to do this, but I know better. And I think it should go this way. So I can't wait to do things my own way. And we do that, don't we? I know when I was a parent, I said, man, I'm going to, I saw ways my parents, but I think I know better. And I try to do these things. and try to implement things my own way because I thought I knew better. And then as the older I got, I said, man, my parents were exactly right about this. They had this. And I'm glad I listened to them, instead of always trying to think I know best. And what that leads to when we think we know best is then we want to go out and do what we want. And it leads to reckless living, because it's just feeding me and what I think. And usually when it's about what we think, it's not about others. It's about ourselves, and it leads to reckless living. And that's the struggle with independence. So how do we find our way back from this? How do we win this fight, this round in the fight of our lives? Well, it begins with our ultimate authority, doesn't it? Learning to honor God as our authority in our life. To say, all right, God, you have made me. I owe everything to you. I owe my very life to you, my very existence to you. And I trust that you know better. And that what you say, I want to not only obey, but respect and esteem. I want to honor God. And then it goes to honoring God, can go into also accepting the authority he has placed over us. To say, all right, God has placed me in the family I'm in with the parents I have. God has done that on purpose, and he's done it for a purpose. God has placed us in the country we are with our authority, police and government and all that. He has that over us. He's placed it over us. So we need to accept the authority that God has placed over us. If God didn't want that authority over us, then he would take it away. And we say, but man, our government, they're not always doing the right thing. Well, in Romans chapter 13, Paul talks about that. He tells the Romans, hey, I want you to respect the authority over you, your governing authorities, and to do what they tell you to do, pay taxes and do all these things. And that, you know what their government was? It wasn't this righteous government. It was the Roman Empire. I don't think they were very righteous, but yet Paul's saying, I want you to honor them. I want you to submit yourself under them. So you know what? We trust that God's placed them there and we want to submit there. And where they go wrong, we learn to forgive just as we've been forgiven. Rather than calling out and saying they must be punished, we need to also look at our lives and say, man, I'm not perfect and God was gracious with me. I can be a little more gracious and I can forgive them where they've gone wrong. That doesn't necessarily mean I have to accept everything just blindly, but that I can at least forgive them for it. And it also goes, when we learn to forgive, we learn to appreciate the things that they are doing right. Appreciate the safety that authority our parents give us in life. Appreciate the care they've been to us. And appreciate those things they are doing right, rather than just looking at what they're doing wrong. And forgiving allows us to release them from what they've done wrong, and then appreciate for what they've done right. And that then allows us to walk graciously, trusting God. Trusting God with the authority in our life. So that we're realizing that, you know what? God has placed it here, and he's placed it here for my best. I want to discover what that is. And we do that by walking with him and trusting him. So that's your encouragement this week. Honor your father and mother, that your days may be long, or that it may go well with you. And not only honor your father, your dad, and your mom, but honor the authority God has placed over our lives. And to learn to be dependent first on God, and then to honor those other authorities in our life. So that's our struggle with independence, and our struggle to honor. That's round 5 of the fight of our life. On Thursday, we're going to look at round 6. Have a great day, Joy.